Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been before. I've got a terrible cold, so apologies for my voice first of all. I wanted today, because while I've got a cold, I'm lying on the sofa, everybody's gone out, I'm feeling sorry for myself, so what do? You scour the internet for decks that you like. Which is exactly what I've been doing. And I thought while I was doing that, I could jump on this tag, what's it called? Hungry Eyes for Tarot, which I've seen a few people doing. It's really fun. So basically it's like what decks are you pining after at the moment? And I'm on a bit of a no-buy because I bought too many decks while I was in the UK recently. But that said, there are 3 or 4 decks that I really, really want. And, excuse me. I'm kind of hoping that I might be able to pick 1 or 2 up. If not this month, then in August. So I'm just going to talk through a few of those decks. First of all, I'm going to talk about the out of print. There's 2 out of print decks that I want. One of which I can't find anywhere. And then I'll talk about another few that are kind of coming up, a couple of them later in the year as well. So, without further ado, the first one, it's here on the screen at the moment. So this is an image of Jonasa Jaus, her deck. And I was just looking for images of it, and this one came up. So there's one available for sale on eBay at the moment, but it's £300. So this is 4th edition, and I love this edition. It's like the green edition. I love this kind of olive green of this version, but for £300 is way out of my budget. So never mind about that. But yeah, while I was sort of preparing for this video, I actually went to Jonasa Jaus's website and discovered that there's one available of the 8th edition for €300. So it says there, you can see a return deck sent to a customer since last December 2024. It's in perfect condition. So it's a hand-drawn and digitally coloured floral deck. She's self-published it since 2016, but she's changed the colour scheme over time. So she says it's remained faithful to a colour code inspired by nature. That's the kinds of greens, I think. But in this new edition, there are changes in the colour. So it's inspired by the old Marseille tarot, which if you've watched me before, you'll know I'm quite very interested in Marseille at the moment. And here she said, as a novelty, I appropriate the red, emerald green and flesh-coloured colours of its cards, of the Marseille cards, resulting in a more colourful deck without edges. So the language is Galician. It's 350 grams matte paper, and but it's €300, so I can't buy this. It's sitting there, it's asking me to buy it, and I can't possibly afford that at the moment. So if anybody else is looking for a Jonasa Jaus, there's one on her website. But I mean, this one, it has dark greens, emerald greens she describes it as, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I did read on her Instagram, I think, that she's going to be releasing some news in September about a new edition, I think, of this same deck. So I'm kind of hoping that, later in the year I'll be richer. But we'll see. So that is one deck that I'm really, really interested in, but I just can't get it at the moment. And then this is a completely out of print deck. This is the Tongues of the Mother Tarot. So this is a review of the deck. Tongues of the Mother Tarot, and it's by Lolu at Akamara Tarot. And this is a deck. The images are just beautiful. I haven't seen many videos about it. Somebody shared, one of the people I follow on YouTube shared a walkthrough of it, but I can't remember who. But anyway, it's based on, it says there it's intended as a celebration of African traditional religions. And I've been looking for a deck that reflects an African perspective. And these images really speak to me, because I used to live in South Africa. I miss it terribly. And these images speak to me very much of the people and the religious practice that people that I knew in South Africa, African people that were engaged in traditional religious practice. It speaks to me of, the images speak to me of that. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I love it. I think Lolu from Akamara, I think she's American, African-American, but it's just absolutely stunning the way that she's put this deck together. So it says here, I was a bit worried because I'm not African, and I'm not a practitioner of African traditional religions. And it says the deck's intended for those who embody ATR practice as part of their everyday lives, which I don't. It's not meant to be legible to everyone, and it reserves depths for the ATR practitioner who can identify with its hidden treasure. So obviously this would mean a lot more to somebody who does practice African traditional religions. And the reviewer says, as an ATR practitioner myself, I was immediately drawn to the deck. Then they say, it's important to note tarot is not part of ATR practice, and I don't believe the deck was created to imply that. Furthermore, I believe that this deck, like any tarot deck, can be part of anyone's personal toolbox for wellness, especially if you're looking for a deck with an air of ancient and ancestral energy. So that does speak to me, and I think I could work with it from that standpoint, rather than as an ATR practitioner, if you know what I mean. But I really love the imagery, and it really speaks to me of my experience in South Africa. But the terrible thing is it's completely out of print, and it doesn't look like she's going to be doing another copy. There was on Little Red Tarot, the UK website, they had a page saved for the 3rd edition. This was the 2nd edition, I think, and they'd reserved a page for the 3rd edition, but they've now taken it down. And I've looked at Lolu's Substack, and she's working on other things, so I'm rather worried that this isn't going to be printed again. So if anybody has it and wants to sell it to me, very, very happy to pay you lots of money. But that is a deck that I have got very hungry eyes for. So the next website I've been getting a bit addicted to is this one. So it's Lauracle, which I think is quite a nice play on words, the name of the website, and it's a French website, so it's lauracle.fr, and this designer, she does oracles and tarots, and there's quite a lot on her website, quite a number of different ones, but the two that I'm really intrigued by are these two, the painting tarot. So this one, I'm collecting a few kind of art tarot decks, and this one looks really nice. I haven't, oh dear, my screen's doing something very weird. Hold on, try that again. I haven't seen many reviews of this, but it's got some quite nice images in there. Not my favourites, like Paul Klee and those guys, but it has got, look, Temperance. It's beautiful. There's quite a bit of Van Gogh. Or Van Gogh. Girl with a pearl earring. Who's that other one there? That's Gauguin, I think. So there's quite a few of like the Impressionist and Post-Impressionist period, which I really enjoy. and it looks like it might be, there's Edvard Munch and Mondrian are the two at the back there. So I think I might quite like this. And it's not too badly priced, it's €30. So yeah, I'm thinking about that one. And then from the same website, there was this rather interesting Marseille, Tarot de Montpellier, and I used to hang out in Montpellier back in the day when I was a European backpacker. Sorry, I'm just having a sip of beer actually to try and sort my throat out. Don't know if that's going to work. So this is quite cheap as well, €19, and look at this beautiful backs. And if you zoom in on the images, there's sort of patterns. I don't know if I can because it keeps doing funny things, but there's kind of patterning on the clothing on the quartz. Can you see that? Maybe if I zoom that out. No, it keeps moving around. Anyway, there's interesting patterning on the clothes of the majors and quartz, and it looks really quite nicely done. So what I don't know about in terms of this website is the cardstock. Got no idea. So if anybody's picked anything up from this one, do let me know how you found it. But it looks really pretty. I like the colours. It's very bright. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm quite intrigued by that. She doesn't have a translation here on the page in English, but yeah. It says it's a homage of Tarot de Marseille from the town of her heart, Montpellier, based on ancient versions, dated 1705 and 1890. I don't know who that would be, but yeah, it looks really cool. So I'm thinking about doing a little order from that shop, and if I do, I will report back. Okay, this one has been on my wish list forever, and it's always just a little bit too expensive. So annoying. So this is the Visconti di Modrone tarot. I love the look of this because it's all gold leaf. And I mean, people have complained that the cards stick together and because of all the gold on the deck, but other people have said how absolutely beautiful it is. And what I really like about this one is the coins suit. The coins are all gold, and it looks really nice. I think Marianne from Happening by Chance has this, and she's shown it a couple of times on her channel, and it is absolutely beautiful. Sorry for all the scrolling, but yeah, it's priced at $79.95, and anything over 75 gets taxed income to my country. So it's really frustrating. It's just $5 too expensive. So I've been waiting for a sale on this, and it's just not happening at all. Every time I try and put it in my cart, it adds another $20 on for import duties. So yeah, I have not pressed the button on that one yet, but as soon as I can. I think this is the only Visconti deck that I really, really want. I could get the cheap one, the Visconti di Sforza by Lo Scarabeo, which is like $20 or whatever. But I really, really like the look of this one. The cards are huge, but I mean, I'd mainly be using it as a reference deck anyway. So, yeah. So that is on my wish list. This one looks really interesting, and this is only coming out in October, end of October. So this is called the Torah in the Tarot, and I've been following a bit of the discussion about this. Some people are quite skeptical, other people are quite supportive. Basically, the author Stav Appel has worked with Florent Giraud from, where's he from? I want to say Cartomancy. something like that. Anyway, he's designed some amazing decks before. So yeah, this is a beautiful tarot deck and booklet revealing the lost and forgotten Jewish origins of the tarot. And I'm interested in how particularly Hebrew letters have been applied to the suits. And I think, there's obviously critique of the kind of esoteric layering, and it's not necessarily connected to, Kabbalistic, real Jewish Kabbalistic kind of beliefs. But this person is taking a slightly different approach. So they're saying that for hundreds of years, the original meaning of the Tarot de Montpellier has been a source of mystery, speculation, and debate. And when Torah student Stav Appel encountered the Jean Noblet Tarot, that's right, they're basing it on the Noblet, one of the oldest preserved decks in the tradition, he found something curious. The magician held his arms in the shape of the Hebrew letter Aleph. This, we've seen it actually in for example, I've received Marco Benedetti's Eliphas Levi deck, and he also sort of added the Hebrew letters to the images. It's waiting for me in England. I'm hoping to pick it up in September. I haven't got it at the moment, so. But this one, he says, the magician held his arms in the shape of the Hebrew letter Aleph. The hermit wore a Jewish prayer shawl, and 3 pieces of matzah hid beneath the moon. So Apple is analysing the tarot, uncovering a rich array of Jewish symbols ingeniously concealed in its images. And he is arguing that, given the deck's origin circa 1650, during the Catholic Church's campaign to eradicate Judaism, he argues that its secret content suggests it originally served as a tool for clandestine Jewish education. So I think it's an interesting concept, and I want to get this deck and the booklet that goes with it. I think it would be really interesting, especially, he's from Florent Giraud from Tarotgraph. So first you get a lovely deck by Florent Giraud, and then secondly you get this quite interesting kind of interpretation that will be really interesting to analyse next to something like the Eliphas Levi deck. So this is like a study deck, but also a nice Marseille to pick up as well. So yeah, I really want that one. It's only coming out in October, end of October, and the shipping costs are quite high. There's no free shipping for that, so we'll have to see how well off I am in October, sorry. All right, the next one is this quite interesting. It's a bundle, but I'm not interested in all of it. So this is from Vermilion collection. I've been looking at their website. They've got some really interesting decks. Again, I'm not quite sure about the card stock on all of the decks, and I've seen some reviews. Some of these are actually, some of the decks that they have on their site are coming to, I think, to Oneness Emporium. Simon showed one the other day that had come from Artisan Tarot. The hamster one is also on here, on their website. I'll go to their main website, actually, so you can see. Oh, where's it gone? Yeah, they've got loads of stuff. A lot of them are like by Chinese design artists and designers, and they've got manga, and they've got there's a really nice one called the Summer Tarot, which looks like Studio Ghibli art, if anyone knows it. There's some beautiful decks, so I'm quite tempted by a few. Yeah, there's the hamster deck, you see. Shushu Tarot, the hamster deck. It looks hilarious. And the Storyboard Tarot looks really interesting. The images have been broken down into like comic panes, there's the Summer Tarot. Yeah, it looks like something out of Studio Ghibli. But the one that I've been looking at the most is this Sambucus Tarot, And so you don't have to buy all of them. You can get them in a box set, but you can also buy them individually. And there's 4 different decks. There's the all-in gift box, which is £127. There's an RWS, and there's a Marseille, a Toss and a Lenormand. The Lenormand is a very tall deck that you can see there. The Marseille is the blue one in the middle, and then the Toss is the left-hand one, and the so they've actually got a horizontal RWS, which is quite interesting. The problem is I'm not very keen on the art. And I know it sounds silly to be considering a deck if I'm not keen on the art. But the Marseille has this very interesting approach. So there you see the Devil card, and maybe I should click on it so it's a bit clearer. Yeah, so there's the Devil card, for example, and then it has the Sephiroth, the Tree of Life, and it highlights the are they called Sephiroth? The actual circles that are associated with the Devil card, and it does it for all of the cards, which I thought was quite interesting, because I know a little bit about the Tree of Life and the different levels, and I find it all quite interesting. I don't necessarily, follow it, but seeing those correlations. So these are the minors. So there's the 2 of coins, and it's associated with the Chokmah, and then the 3 is with the Bina. So yeah, very interesting. I want to find out more about it, and it looks quite fascinating. So I'm very tempted to get that one. It's not too bad. It's £37. So yeah, I'm trying to hold off for August, but I think I might press the button on that one. Okay, and just one more deck that I am currently looking at. I've got very hungry eyes for. So I've been looking for a sea-themed deck. I miss the sea. I lived in Cape Town, which was by the sea, and yeah, it was very much sort of part of what we did at the weekends, and I'd run with my dogs on the beach, and I miss the sea. We used to go for lovely holidays up the west coast of South Africa. So I've been looking for a deck that kind of recalls that. There's a few sea-themed decks out there. The Flow Tarot was another one that was quite interesting. But I really like this Seashell Oracle. So this is on the Paragot site. And this is by Broccoli Publishers. And I know quite a few people have got these decks. So yeah, I'm very tempted to go for this one. I keep coming back to it, when you think, I'll wait with that one, but then you keep going back and looking at it again. I've been doing that for about 3 months now, so perhaps I should just get it. But again, I'd need to purchase this in the UK because of shipping limitations. Look at that Nautilus. It's gorgeous. And it's got this sort of classical design elements embedded in it as well, which is really nice. Yeah, and I quite like the keywords as well. It offers 3, so you get the name and then you get 3 keywords too, which I quite like that approach. So I think I might go for this one. I think that's an almost definite, actually. The Paragot website, if anyone's in the UK as well, is really cool. If we go to the tarot section, it's got really nice decks, and actually some that are quite hard to get hold of in the UK usually. And I think the shipping's free over a certain amount within the UK. Oh, there's a new one, Departures Tarot. I don't know what that is. But I've had my eyes on... they've got the Jacques Viville by Artisan Tarot, for example, in stock, which is a bit mad. Because, otherwise, usually you have to ship them from the US, and it's super expensive. And then I like these green glyphs as well. Apparently they were a whole thing when they came out. There was an Oracle, a Tarot, a Lenormand, And yeah, I quite like the look of them as well. Anyway, so the Paragot website is a dangerous place for me to visit. But yeah, they've got all the broccoli decks there. So I'm very tempted to go for that one. So that's it from me. Those are where my hungry eyes, they're not the only places. I mean, every time there's a discussion on the Hermit's Cave about what's coming into stock at the Oneness Emporium, I'm like adding to my wish list madly. There was one yesterday, the Soli, and it's a tarot and sigils, additional sigil deck, and it looks absolutely, I loved the tarot, it was really nice. So yeah, I'm far too tempted by that as well. But I'm going to stop here, and thanks for watching, everybody, and yeah, have a lovely day. Bye.